Hello. What is going on, y'all? Today is Saturday, and it's going to be leg day. Now, remember what I was talking about, how the beginning of the year happened? Everyone was crazy, you know, it's always the New Year's resolutions, and then it's always like New Year, New Me, and everything. Well, after that, really that first day, it's back to normal, right? So, the easiest way I think to make habits is they always say, let me start tomorrow. Why not just start today? What makes you think that you're really going to want to start tomorrow, right? How is all that motivation that you have currently right now to do it tomorrow really going to translate tomorrow when tomorrow comes? I don't think, honestly, that it's going to come. You know, when you have so much motivation to do something, sure, you actually might start it. But you're not going to probably want to do it the next day or the next day or the next day after that, right? And even if you do that, why not just do it that day then? Be like, okay, today's my second day in the gym. That's my New Year's resolution, to get my second day in the gym. Not my first day, the second day. You know. And especially for people who were already at it, you know your life is significantly better when you were doing it. So why don't you do it? That's what I've never understood. Is when people are super dedicated when they were already fully adults, like when they were in their 20s, when they were like 25, and randomly when they're 30, their life hasn't significantly changed, and they're just not doing it. Like, bro, you're in the peak physical shape of your life. Why would you not do it? So, you know, that's just kind of how I think about that kind of stuff. You know, the New Year's resolutions. It's cool to have goals, and it's cool to make those bigger goals because it's a whole new year. It's like a reset thing, sure. But something, I'm not going to say it's going to the gym isn't small, right? But it's a commitment thing long term. A one workout or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 or even 6 or 7 workouts isn't going to make you a whole new person. It's the longevity things. It's the time where you've done it multiple times in multiple years without quitting, and you haven't stopped. That's what it's all about. It's not just your first 7 workouts and you're a whole new person. No, it's the whole thing of teaching you discipline and what that can make you go through. Right? That's why you need to be conscious every workout, know what you're actually doing, stay off your phone, really actually log into that workout, be intense, and fully be in that workout and realize you don't have to do this, but you are. So everything else in life would translate along with that. If you just take a workout for a workout and you don't really put any emphasis towards it, like, you know, really like locking it in and being like, I'm going to really lock it in towards this workout, I feel like your workouts are never going to translate to anything else other than your workouts. Like, you know, if you never have to lock in mentally for a set, like take a moment to be quiet and really focus on that set, I feel like you're never pushing yourself hard enough, you know? Same thing with life though, is what I'm trying to say is, in life you're going to have moments where you're really going to have to think and lock in, and like, you know, you're going to have to remember, dang, this is what life is really all about. It's hard. But with the gym, you've already prepared so much for those times because you've had sets where you're like, I'm about to throw up if I do this set. You know, I've had sets like that back in the day. I still get them every now and then, but I used to take a lot of pre-workout, and when I would do that, sometimes on leg press I would throw up. My intensity's always been the same with it, but you know, but I remember I was about to throw up even before the workout, not before the workout, but before like that exercise on the second or third set. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna do this. I'm probably gonna throw up, but I'm ready. So I did it. I threw up, and you know, everything went according to plan, you know. But what I'm saying is, I mentally locked in on those sets to really activate my dog. So what I mean by that is, let's say this, you have bills piling up on you, family stuff piling up on you, relationship stuff piling up on you. You got all that stuff, right? I don't know if I can do this anymore. I don't know if I'm enough for it. Well, the workouts should translate to saying, I've done this so many times. Not the same exact scenario where I'm, on the verge of, whatever not. And I've had all these exact same problems, but you've had the exact same scenario where you wanted to give up. But you drove through it. I guess you could say that, but you hit your stride and you finally locked in and you realized who you are. Right? You realize that you can get through these things because you've already battled through these things. This is nothing new for you. This is just another day in the ballpark. This is nothing that you're gonna, it's nothing that's gonna make you, it's not gonna phase you as much as the guy who's never tried to push himself, is what I'm trying to say. Because you have guy A. He's a guy who, has some hardship in his life, but he's never willingly wanted to go through anything or tried to push himself through anything. And then you have guy B, who's doing those things that he strives to do every day. He strives to push himself in the gym. He strives to meditate every day. He strives to stretch every day. He strives to write a new book every now and then, and research and all that. The guy who's done more pain willingly is going to be able to strive and survive through that pain that's not willingly way better than the guy who hasn't tried to do anything to really put himself in the positions where you're back against the corner. And you might say, but you only have so much you can handle. Guy A, he's took it easy, so his storage capacity on stress is at 0, and the other guy's already at 100. Okay, you can say that. But let's just say this. Guy A's stress containment or storage is, let's say, 1 gigabyte, while the other guy's is 1 terabyte. That guy with the 1 terabyte is only taking up 10 gigabytes worth of storage, so he puts that other thing in his, life, and it's just no big deal. It's just another thing he's downloading. While guy A, has only 1 gigabyte of storage, and that thing is worth 20 gigabytes worth of storage. He doesn't have anything. He doesn't have any storage. He can't handle it because he's never willingly tried to put himself in the corner, back against the wall. That's how I think about all of this. You can work out for muscles. You can work out for, maybe money. You can work out for more intimidation. But in my opinion, one of the main reasons why I work out is because I like putting myself in those scenarios because I know they'll back up something later in the future. The guy who is willing to go through pain is going to go through pain that's unwillingly a lot better than the guy who doesn't. And if you keep being comfortable, and when life gets uncomfortable, you're not going to know what to do. And like I said, the gym will not teach you how to solve every problem, but it'll teach you to be able to solve those problems and think at an orderly fashion, more likely than not. Unless you're on like Tren or something, and you're like schizophrenic at that point. Just don't do Tren, guys. That's a very bad substance. That's for horse cattle. It's actually crazy. People inject. I almost said I don't do that. Yeah, but people inject Tren, and it's literally for cattle. What? That's insane to me. But on other terms of the lift today, the leg day, and it's gonna be. I think it's gonna be RDLs potentially. It's up in the air. If I don't do those, it's gonna be lower back extensions. and it's going to be the leg press they got at this gym. Because, so, back when I used to go to that gym, or this gym, back when I used to go to this gym, when I had my membership before, they had this leg press that's needed lubed up, or some of the parts on it, like, were getting stuck, and it was the heaviest leg press around. Like, no BS. It was the heaviest leg press around. Like, in a usual leg press, I'm able to do 8, 9, 10 plates. I was only doing like 5 on each side, right? So I was just ignored it. Part of me is like my ego, you know, because it's like, if I'm doing leg press, I want to be able to like do heavy movement, because leg press is like the easiest movement to go heavy on. But also, it's just like, at certain points it would feel really smooth, and then it'd get like stuck, and it like, you really had to, it went from like, let's say like 600 pounds to like 2,000 real quick, and it was super hard, and you couldn't get it out of like a sticking point or whatever, so you didn't get as much benefit out of it. But so we're gonna be in that today, because the gym owner, he was talking to me about it yesterday when I was talking to him. He was like, dude, you're gonna love this, you're gonna love it. But yeah, so we got that. Sorry. Sorry guys, this is really gross. Okay, I had a nail right there that was bothering me. I'm so sorry, that was gross. But, so, that, either the RDLs or lower back extensions, the leg press, and then if I don't do RDLs, it's going to be hamstring curls, and then we're going to do a leg extension, calf raises somewhere in there, and some sus machine work, and some abs, and some shoulders, and some forearms. So today's going to be not a long workout, but it's going to be more variety, because what I figured out is I want to do shoulders 2 times a week, because I've been heavily slacking on them for like the past 3 and 4 months, and because I've always had great shoulders compared, like, one of my best things is my shoulders when I hit them. So I was always just like, I don't need to hit them as much, so I wouldn't like try to not hit them, but I would just like, I don't know what you want to say. It's just like, if I didn't have time to hit them, I didn't mind not hitting them. So for a while, I didn't have time hitting them on chest and tricep or back and bicep. So what I've come to the conclusion is, let me just do them on leg day, when I'm only doing one muscle group, and then, you know, fit them in with everything else. I could have like another like separate day and not have a rest day, but I like my rest days, not just because, oh, I get the day off from the gym. No, that's not why, but mainly because I get to just have that day to just focus more on other things too. Like it's not like I'm going, like, I never say I have to go to the gym. I always say I get to go to the gym. So it's not like I have to do this, but it's more I have an hour and a half to like 45 minutes worth of time to do other things like research, spend more time with my girlfriend, spend more time with my family, my friends. So I have more time to do other things else, you know, on the days that I might not be able to, like my work days, or, you know, just whatever days. So, you know, it really just, it's really nice to just also have that day off. Not because I don't miss the gym or anything, because honestly, whenever I'm away from the gym, I'm like, dang, dude, I could be getting an arm pump or something right now. That sounds really fun. But, you know, other than that, though, today, I have nothing much more to say. I'm just going to get right into it. Alright, so the first lift we're going to be doing is going to be a quad focus, but you're also going to be hitting, you know, a little bit of everything, like glutes, abductors, little hamstrings, barely any at all, and somewhat a little bit of calves. So you could call it a compound movement, but this can replace squats if you've had lower back pain, or if you do currently, you know, just overall a good move for stability. But train pretty heavy for this. Recently I've been going a little lighter and focusing really on my form a lot when I do this, and just getting a really deep stretch and squeeze in my quads. But so don't ego lift, make sure you go all the way down and make sure you squeeze. Now we're going to be doing leg extensions for the quads, and we're just going to be exploding up, going slow on the way down, training heavy for these as well. Make sure you point your toes upwards. That's the way you hit your quads the most, and you don't have any knee pain when you do it. So make sure you stay tight, and we're going to be training around 2 to 3 sets for this. And if you want more activation on the outer part of your quad, keep your legs close together. Now we're going to be focusing on hamstrings, which the main point of this is just to explode on the way up, train in the moderately heavy, and yeah, just explode on the way up, go slow on the way down again, and train around the 2 sets again. Now we're going to be training the calves, and make sure you're just doing exploding reps on the way up. You don't really need to control this super well, but make sure you always control, just like every exercise. Explode on the way up, slow on the way down, and get a deep stretch at the bottom. We're going to be training 3 sets of this heavy. Now we're going to be hitting glutes. Same thing with this as calves, just explode on the way out. Doesn't need to be super controlled. That's the best way I've always hit it, but we're going to be training a set of this today. Now we're going to be training abs, and the leg raises will hit the lower portion mainly, but you're going to hit overall everything besides your obliques. But make sure you just explode on the way up and go slow on the way down. You can kind of do these however you want. You can kind of go from that dip formation to kind of having your arms rested on the pads on the sides. So it doesn't really matter, but I just trained around 3 to 4 sets of this. Now we're primarily going to be focusing on the upper abs, and we're going to be just doing 2 sets. Exploding the way down, train with moderately light to medium weight, and that's really it. Make sure you just squeeze your core and don't bend your back when you're doing these. Now we're going to be training our side delts and a little bit of front delt. And all you're going to be doing really is just raising it up. Now, the primary thing is just raise it outwards, not just straight up, or you'll get a lot of trap activation when you do this. But train at a moderately lighter weight so you keep your form intact, keep your form tight. And we're going to be training around the 2 to 3 set range. Now we're just going to be doing rear delt flies, and we're going to be doing with dumbbells. You can also do them with anything else, really, like cables, but you're going to be hitting your traps and also mainly your rear delts when you do these. So make sure you're training explosively on the way up, controlling on the way down. Make sure you're training around the 12 to 15 rep range, getting a lightweight. All right, we're done. We're out of the gym, and I cannot complain about anything. Well, I can a little bit. I'm not going to really go into depth about it. It's not anything serious or bad. Well, it's not good. But so when I was doing lower back extensions, I'd never felt this before other than today. And I think it's just because the platform or the thing that they have, and there's no excuses not to hit it. So I'm just going to hit RDLs next time. But when I was trying to do the lower back extensions, the pad thing already is kind of weird. It doesn't have a thing where you can just screw it in. It's like you have to set it at a level and then you have to lay down on it, and that's where it sits. But every time I would do a lower back extension, I only felt my right side. And I don't know if I just have imbalances, but I've never felt it like that. So I'm just going to take it all on that and just go on with my day. But I'm going to try to see what I can do next time. But other than that, I can't complain about anything else, Overall, a good day. After this, when I get back to my house, I'm going to do MMA training, which it's not MMA because I'm not doing jiu-jitsu. I'm doing just kickboxing. I'm going to do that for 15, 25 minutes just to get more of cardio or whatever you could say done. But also just because I need to get back to it a lot more. I haven't done it in like a little while now, so I just mainly want to be able to get back to it, because if you know MMA or you kickboxing or jiu-jitsu or any type of mixed martial art, you're way better and ahead of the competition. Overall superiority is a gun, but let's say both of you guys don't have a gun, but guy A knows jiu-jitsu and you know nothing, guy B or whatever knows nothing, guy A is going to win 10 times out of 10 times, unless somehow, you know, I guess you're in a street fight and you see a bottle and you stab him in the eye or something, then I guess you won. But if we're just going, you're in a field of grass and you're for some reason fighting, guy A is going to win every time. So, you know. But overall today, I can't complain about anything. Nothing. Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty tired right now, but it's no excuse not to go just hit a little cardio and have a little fun. But other than that, nothing more to say. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Bye-bye.